Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? I hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, I want to bring to your attention the talents of a great young independent filmmaker that I have the honour and privilege to call a friend of mine. His name is Ansel Faraj, and he lives in the lee of Hollywood, a stone's throw from Venice Beach. In fact, he is now a resident of Venice Beach, Los Angeles. And from the early age, he knew, I want to be a film director. And that's what he's become. A film director, producer, screenwriter, and award winner as well. He has numerous short movies out there. He has his dream project is about to be aired and streamed on Amazon Prime. It's called, wait for it, Todd Tarantula. Todd Tarantula. And you guys know me in spiders. But he's the main character who undergoes an odyssey through a hinterland, limbo, alternate reality Los Angeles with many tricks and twists and turns up its sleeve. And I cannot wait to watch it. But I have watched this particular short movie, which I'm going to describe to you and review and give it basically that. 2 big, massive thumbs up because it's sensational. But before I do, I'm going to have to make a little confession here. Ansel lives in Venice Beach. He's a resident of Venice Beach. From a very early age, he knew he wanted to be a filmmaker. And he's fulfilled that. And he's won awards. In fact, for this particular short movie, The Most Haunted House in Venice Beach, he won the Rondo Hatten Classic Horror Award. Jesus Christ, that takes some doing that, you know. And but the confession is this. I've been to LA and I didn't like it at all. What's that song? LA is just a great big car park, you know. Well, yeah, that's what I thought about it. I never got as far as Venice Beach. Not been there. And but I love San Diego. I need to go back to LA, and Ansel has invited me there. He said, you know, me and him, we're gonna strut down the boardwalk of Venice Beach in kilts and clogs. Okay. I've definitely got the kilt bit covered. There you go. That'll be wearing that. Or something similar. But clogs, cloppity down the boardwalk, I don't know. But there's a bohemian sensibility to Ansel, which I truly love and adore. Highly individual, highly sort of, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to do it. And I love that. I stand by that. With vigour, spit, and venom. You know, I stand by that. But my confession is thus. I did a video only just, in fact, prior to this particular video, it was a watch-along party for the film Cobra. Sylvester Stallone's 1986 testosterone macho, kill crazy carnage-a-thon Cobra. And I did say in that, whilst discussing various locations in the film, that one particular place I thought was very interesting, which had all these sort of little humpback bridges and canals. And I was saying, is that the same place where they filmed Nightmare on Elm Street with Johnny Depp and the young Johnny Depp and the young Heather Langenkamp discussing tactics on how to defeat nightmares and dream demons and all that kind of stuff? Because it looks very similar, that. And yet, that is Venice Beach. I didn't realise that at the time, but it is. And it's so obvious, the clues in the name. Venice, canals. But here, between these ears, which are under there somewhere, there's ears there somewhere, I had not made that connection. Bit clangorous. You'll know why I'm playing that very shortly. But Cobra himself lives in a really seedy apartment on a beachfront, and in my video commentary I did make reference to that area as being, what a shithole. I did. Ansel, I'm so sorry, because I then very swiftly learned that's Venice Beach. But that was Venice Beach from 1986. I don't know how it looks now. You know, it could be gorgeous now. Anyway, Ansel is clearly in love with his neighbourhood, and I totally admire and understand that. I love where I live, where I was brought up. Of course you do, unless you're brought up in a slum, but you've probably still got some grudging respect and admiration for it and love for it, regardless. But I did make reference to it being a shithole, and I do regret that now. You see, Kilt-Man honestly prevails. But the short film I'm going to discuss right now, and really, really try to get you to go and watch it. It's on YouTube. It will cost you nothing. Go and watch it. It's fantastic. It's called The Most Haunted House in Venice Beach, which he made in 2021, and this won the Rondo Hatten Classic Horror Award. Wow. And what it is, it's only, I think, 17, maybe 18 minutes. It's a short movie. And Ansel himself appears in it at the beginning and at the end as the storyteller. And I think the actors he's used are local actors to Venice Beach and, well, obviously LA, I think. And what it is, it's a fictional story revolving around a particular house in Venice Beach, which Ansel has deemed the most haunted, but not in a frightening way. What you get in this movie is a memory mood piece about the beginnings of Venice Beach, who created it, why it was created, and how these various people, the creator, the woman who owned this house after him, and then various other souls have lived their lives there and contrived to end up in this house as spectres and ghosts who live there now. And it's truly, truly wonderful. It's intercut. Each character has their story, and they talk to us and they explain how they got there, what their lives were like, what Venice Beach was like throughout their different time periods when they lived, and how they've seen it change. But it's intercut with wonderful sort of black and white and sepia tinted imagery and photography of bygone times. And as I said before about Cobra and Venice Beach, the clue being in the name Venice, it was built with a system of canals back sort of like the turn of the century. The residents who had enough money to do so were gliding along these canals in gondolas with their big straw hats and all that, and having wonderful times. And then bit by bit, Venice Beach was changed, it was modified. They've drained these canals and they filled them in and created roads instead, but there's still canals there. But so what you've got in this is nostalgia, whimsy, a hark back to an old time capsule pictures of a bygone era, and these wonderful performances, which, the effects will not blow you away. It's like going into sort of, if you've ever been to an old historical building and you have actors who are, I lived here and I did this and blah blah blah, and you have sometimes video displays showing pastiches and histories and things. It's very like that. It's a very sort of, visually, it's like a tour of this old, almost colonial house, and the denizens that have ended up living there. And these actors do it really well. But the effects, the visual effects, they will fade in, they will fade out. You know, they're clearly ghostly, but it's wonderfully done with a real sort of passion and observation for just, I want to get their dialogue right. I want to get their characters just right. Because you've got the guy that built Venice Beach. He constructed the whole thing. And his name is, hang on a second. Where is it? I did write this down here somewhere. Abbott Kinney, played by Daryl Hardlicker, I think his name. Daryl Hardlicker. Abbott Kinney. And he describes how his dream was to create Venice and create this land of canals, just glide peacefully. But then his dream, he achieved his dream, but then the dream was destroyed after his time. But he's now residing in this house. You have the lady of the house, and she was an old actress, although at the age of 36 she realised that, you know, I'm not getting the phone calls anymore. No one's bothering with me. Am I too old now? And yet she's still young as a ghost. And she is, hang on, what's she called? Della. And she's played by Kelly Erin Decker. And there's a great moment where she says, the calls stopped coming. And I just spent my time looking in the mirror, like wondering why, wondering what had been, what am I going to become? And then all of a sudden I was on the other side of the mirror. That's wonderful. It's a glistening sort of recollection of how the transition was made. Somehow she must have died and drifted over, and all her dreams faded, and now she is literally a dream now within the house. But you've got other characters there as well. You have a girl who was a palm reader, a fortune teller at the end of the pier, you know, on the boardwalk and all that. And she genuinely can tell fortunes, but as she admits, you know, I wouldn't tell them the truth, because who needs to know what their fate really is? And she says, because I saw my fate, I knew what would happen to me. Why would I tell anybody else that? And there's a bitterness there. There's also a bit of a sense of humour to her characterisation. She's called Millie, and she is played by Kelsey Hewlett, I think it is. Kelsey Hewlett. And she's great. There's also somebody else. Well, you've got another guy. Hang on a second. There's another guy. Jay, played by Christopher Pennock. Is it Pennock? I think it's Pennock. And he's a 50s surfer. He's one of the first surfers in the area. You know, he's got that surfer sort of drawl, and he's smoked a few things in his time. He does reference reefers and all that, and he's brilliant. But he does say to you, you know, like, I don't know how I got here, and don't ask me. I don't fucking know how I got here, so just don't ask, okay? Don't ask. And he has this sort of reverie that he goes through, and he tells you about the fun times and how he met this girl, and they had a couple of kids, but after 2 weeks of marriage, the girl, he was so beautiful, you know, she made the stars melt from the sky. She left him, and then, you know, I moved. You can tell his downfall was plotted there. Life was pretty much over, and he drifted from one thing to another, and somehow contrived to arrive in that house as well. So these are all residents in the house, the resident ghosts. But you've got, as Della, the lady of the house, does say, this is the old fading actress. She's not old, sorry, I keep saying old, but she's only young. She's 36 or whatever. She says, oh, please, you're welcome to investigate the house, but just don't go upstairs. It's much older, and it's we haven't managed to manage the upkeep of it. But then she says later on, there actually is another resident upstairs. And it's this guy, and he's the Speedway Ghost. Hang on, is it Speedway Ghost? Yeah, played by Douglas Eames, and what he is, he's a murder victim who he was beaten, robbed, murdered, and his body was weighted down and thrown into the canal. But it's one of the canals which was like then drained and like paved over, so he's forever lost there. But he does say, basically his spirit rose out of that and would latch on to all the cars. Where there used to be gondolas, now there's cars going by. He'd latch onto the cars and he'd be driven up and down the roads. And he's now become a sort of silent, watchful sentinel over the roads of Venice Beach. But he's there. Now, he's not horrible at all. He does wear a mask though. He wears a mask. So you see him, he's actually got some kind of mask on. The mask comes away, so you do see his face, but it's kind of, well, it's a ghostly sort of impression that you're left with. But Della does say that, you know, there is another resident here, but, you know, you don't want to meet him and we don't want to talk about him. But it's the Speedway Ghost. And what she says, I find his indifference frightening. And there's something about that which I thought, oh my God, that's so strange. And so, you know, haunting. His indifference to everything else, to all of them. She finds that frightening, that he won't engage. So what's he got? What's his secret? What's behind him? What's driving him? Why is he here? And there are murals on the walls. This is a real building, by the way, with real murals. Venice Beach is a very bohemian area, full of bars and restaurants and, you know, lots of sort of street art taking place, street magic, just street culture, and probably, you know, multi-cultural. We've got many places like that around here. In fact, literally just down the road in New Brighton, we have Victoria Road, which is very bohemian. There's murals on the walls, there's all sorts of arts and farty sort of stuff, restaurants and trendy places, and boutiques and multicultural cuisine, and it's all very lively. There's festivals taking place there. In Liverpool, there are many other areas like that, like Lark Lane, for instance, which is exactly the same sort of style. And quite clearly, Venice Beach is that sort of aesthetic, style, and sense of character. That's what it's got. And this short movie is a real ode to the style, the grace, the beauty, the majesty, the haunted past of Venice Beach. Told by someone that has a real passion for the place, and I found it incredibly moving. I didn't expect to feel that way. I thought, oh, well, I know Ansel, and we have a really good laugh, you know, and talking about the kilts and the clogs and just things we're going to get up to, you know. And I did not envisage this short film, this short sort of tourist guide to a bygone era of a place that he knows and loves, and it has been changed dramatically over the decades, completely. I did not expect to be moved by it, and I was. And what aids this is not only the performances, because they're all funny, they're all arch to a degree, and then the more you see these individual ghosts and you hear their backstory and their feelings towards what's happened around them and how things have changed, suddenly you get the depth to them and it works. And you're like, oh, you've seen how your world has been transformed, and now all you can do is watch. You can't play a part in it. And the music as well. I've been playing Holst, the Planets, and Saint-Saens as well, which is, of course, the Carnival of Animals aquarium, because this is the music that he plays throughout this wonderful short movie. And as we go through the transition of all, what they did, how they came to be, excuse me, this music plays, and it draws you in and takes you on this odyssey as well. And it's incredibly moving and very, very haunting as well. Ansel himself plays the storyteller, so he will literally walk up to this dwelling, this old dwelling place, see the murals on the wall, and he will almost be the one asking the questions of the ghosts, who will then tell him their stories. And you've got Della, the housekeeper, the matriarch of the place, the old actress. So what she misses most of all, because she misses the gondolas. They took the canals and they made them into roads. I miss the lapping of the waves. I just wish, I could have a seashell. If anyone ever comes here again, please bring me a seashell so I can hear the sea again. And at the end, Ansel walks up and puts a seashell on the wall. Oh, that's great, I get dead moved by stuff like that. And the combination of music, performances, and just simplistic storytelling. And it worked. Worth the treat. Folks, I massively want to stop coughing. I massively implore you to have a look at this. The Most Haunted House in Venice Beach. I will put a link to it below. It's on YouTube. You can watch it free of charge. And Todd Tarantula will be out very soon. And I will be giving it, a severe looking at. In the full kilted tradition, of course. No clogs, just kilts. And his other movies as well. There's other stuff as well. It clearly is a passion for this neck of the woods that he's got, which you can't knock. It's he loves it. I think you can see how things have changed, and I get from this especially that its best days are long gone, and now whatever it is now, I called it a shithole when I was discussing Cobra. That's how it looked to me. I didn't make the connection that the humpback bridges and the canals were part of it. And they're lovely. And they're still there. I presume they're still there. Some of them at least. But this is a reverie. It's a time capsule. It's about the passing of an era. Several eras, and how it's viewed from different people, from different walks of life, who contrive to end up in the same ghostly abode. Folks, sorry. The Most Haunted House in Venice Beach. Give it a look. Comment below, let me know what you think. And more importantly, comment and let Ansel know what you think. And stay on board for Todd Tarantula. Jesus. Ansel, there better not be any spiders in it. I mean this. Me and spiders do not get along. I've still got the scar of that bite from, what is it now? It's almost 2 years ago now, almost. Hell of a long time ago anyway. And I've still got a huge crater in the back of my leg from that spider bite. Yeah. So Todd, you can keep your tarantulas to yourself. Anyway, folks, I have been always trying to be Kilt-Man. Please, let me know what you think about this. Because you need people like Ansel who've got their own individual visions, and they're not sold by Hollywood. They're not being coerced by suits and committee writers. It's an auteur vision. He's the writer, producer, director. And I'm clearly dying here. Good God. Oh, listen. It's a Saint-Saens. A carnival of animals. Aquarium. I see the music plays so well. It's got this haunting, ghostly, ethereal quality, and yet it also has a sense of tragedy and loss and looking back on bygone times, things that will never be again, which is what, we tend to think that ghosts are like that. They're shades, they're memories, they're a spirit that's just unfinished business or doesn't want to let go and still lingers and literally just looks on and sees how things have changed, and not necessarily for the better. Folks, I've been always Shabby Kilt-Man. Please, in the meantime, and it's ever ghostly, Venice Beachy in between time, please keep it kilted, keep it classic, and I'm going to see you all later. Canals. I'm choking on them.